Expected the new year would bring better times. Well, that transition has taken longer than we hoped. In the meantime, we had many other challenges to focus on and victories to celebrate. Tonight, we're taking a look back at the events that shaped our past year. If one word could describe 2021, upheaval comes to mind. The definition seems to fit the conditions of America in the last year and at home in Chicago. Violent, disruption. The only word that doesn't quite suit this definition is sudden, since so much of what unfolded in 2021 was a direct response to the events that began in 2020. Just 6 days into the new year, pro-Trump protesters stormed the Capitol in a failed attempt to stop the peaceful transfer of power.
I was grabbed, beaten, tased, all while being called a traitor to my country.
In its wake, 5 people died and 700 people were charged with crimes, including at least 20 from Illinois.
Congratulations, Mr. Welch.
Then in Springfield, a peaceful transfer of power. State Representative Chris Welch became the first black speaker in Illinois history, replacing his mentor, Michael Madigan, who was voted out and later resigned altogether while mired in the ComEd bribery scandal. March 11 marked the one-year point since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson had begun rolling out their vaccines, but it was a rocky start in Chicago.
Huge rush of people.
I bet.
Working to try to get online and book. There was about a 25 minute period where
Any crash yet?
Yeah, well, some people weren't able to get through right immediately.
Then the scramble turned to scandal. Loretto Hospital came under fire, accused of improperly administering doses to wealthy friends. By then, politics and division had already settled in. Vaccine drives and vaccine protests existed side by side while mandates were considered and enforced.
If you ignore a directive of your supervisor, or worse, a direct order that's lawfully given, you're going to destroy your career.
It's the city's clear attempt to force officers to Chicken Little, the sky is falling, into compliance.
By June, cases dropped significantly in Illinois before spiking again with the Delta variant. And then another threat arose, the Omicron variant, making its presence felt in Chicago on December 7th. More controversy for police as March bled into April. Outrage and protests in Little Village after 13-year-old Adam Toledo was shot and killed by police. Then on April 15th, Chicago paused to watch frame by frame the deadly exchange.
Hey, show me your head, stop it, stop it!
Officer Eric Stillman's body cam footage showed the boy drop a gun a split second before he was shot, turning toward the officer. Another big story of 2021 touched nearly every one of Chicago's 77 neighborhoods. Through the year's end, homicides were up more than 60% from before the pandemic, and shootings nearly 70%.
The westbound lanes were shut down after a man was shot and killed on the expressway. Illinois State.
And 196 days into the new year, the violence on Chicago's expressways reached a new high. Expressway shootings surpassed 2020's total with more than 5 months to go. In fact, 2021 ended with more than 261 expressway shootings.
This is a rate of the increase of this type of violence on the expressways that we have never seen before in this area.
Another disturbing trend involving cars and crime in 2021, carjackings with younger perpetrators.
I looked at his face and I saw a baby face with nothing in his eyes. There was nothing there. Just get out your car or I'm going to shoot you.
By midsummer, WGN Investigates found 84 juveniles had been charged in carjackings, more than the number of adults.
I got an officer down, 10-1, 10-1, 6-3 in Bell, officer down, shots fired at the police.
A trying year for police then became a month of mourning in August. Officer Ella French was shot and killed by one of two suspects pulled over in a traffic stop. Her partner, Carlos Yanez Jr., survived critical injuries and is still on the mend. One more high-profile crime trend reemerged throughout the year.
Retail theft has morphed into an organized retail crime.
High-end smash and grabs swept suburban malls and the Magnificent Mile.
All of a sudden, people just started screaming and yelling, and you just hear boom, boom, boom.
The violence in malls continued into December at Oakbrook Center.
People were running all over the place and then hiding. 4
people were shot when 2 gunmen opened fire on each other, sending thousands of holiday shoppers into lockdown for hours. Meantime, residents in the nearby western suburb of Woodridge were still cleaning up from an EF3 tornado that hit the community 6 months earlier after first striking parts of Naperville.
There was no freight train. Don't ever think it's a freight train. It was explosion after explosion.
400 homes were impacted, 150 with major damage back on June 20th.
The Chicago White Sox are winners of the AL Central.
Sweeping changes also hit the city's sports scene as the White Sox fought their way into baseball's playoff season, playing on Iowa's famous Field of Dreams. The Cubs cleaned house, trading away fan favorites Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, and Anthony Rizzo.
Right now, it's still a lot of emotions, but the best years of my life have been in Chicago.
And while one team's championship legacy lost its luster, another's legacy became tarnished. The sex abuse scandal hit the Blackhawks surrounding the 2010 Stanley Cup team. An investigation found the front office ignored a sexual assault allegation against one of its coaches.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Meanwhile, the Bears captured fans' hearts and hopes by signing their quarterback of the future. Then the Bears shook the city with more news about its future, entering an agreement to buy the Arlington International Racecourse, potentially setting up a move to the suburbs. And in a momentous victory, the Chicago Sky brought a world championship back to the city, their first WNBA title. As 2021 chugged along, more venues began to open as COVID numbers fell and vaccinations went up. Lollapalooza brought music back to Grant Park in late July. In August, Chicago's stages made the long-awaited comeback 17 months after going dark. The city was also captivated by 3 Hallmark trials, starting with Chicago R&B superstar R. Kelly in September. Jurors have found the Chicago R&B star guilty on all counts. A jury found him guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking young victims over decades.
Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Then in November, the second explosive verdict. Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted of murder and the killing of 2 men in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And in early December, Jussie Smollett had his day in court.
Former Empire actor Jussie Smollett has been found guilty of staging this hate crime and then lying about it to Chicago police officers.
Jurors found Smollett guilty on 5 of 6 felonies. It capped off nearly 3 years of legal drama. And after 5 years of legal battles, gentrification concerns, and a federal review, Barack and Michelle Obama finally put ceremonial shovels into the dirt at Jackson Park. The Obama Presidential Center is now set to open in 2026. By the end of the year, other live events also made a return for the city's holiday celebrations, from the Magnificent Mile Lights Festival to the annual lighting of the city's Christmas tree. And as Chicago closes the chapter on 2021 and a new COVID surge, it also sets the stage to hopefully make the comeback complete in 2022. And some other notable moments in 2021. Chicago Public Schools hired a new superintendent, Pedro Martinez, the first Latino to hold the job on a permanent basis. Lakeshore Drive was renamed to honor Jean-Baptiste Dusable. And on the subject of the city's violence, just yesterday, Police Superintendent David Brown said in 2021, CPD seized a record 12,000 guns and cleared 50% of the homicides it faced, the best rate in 19 years. Well, still ahead tonight.